Welcome back to Totally Pointless. I'm JT. And I'm TJ. You know him, you love him, well, you love to hate him or hate to love him. It's Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And look, we got a lot to cover. I mean, seriously, the guy's been everywhere.
Right. Like from real estate to reality TV and then boom, the White House.
It's bonkers, right? And you gotta admit, it's entertaining.
Totally.
Okay, but first things first, we're diving deep into all things Trump, okay? We got articles, interviews, the whole 9 yards. But remember, this is Totally Pointless. We're here for the laughs, folks.
Oh, yeah. The man is a walking, talking meme machine.
You said it. So let's start at the beginning. The Donald, before the White House, big-time real estate mogul, New York City, casinos, the whole shebang.
Trump Tower, gold everywhere, hair even bigger than...
Oh, for sure. And let's not forget the branding. Trump steaks? Anyone.
Oh, man. Trump steaks?
Trump vodka.
Trump University.
Classic. Not all of it was successful, let's say.
No, not exactly.
But it shows you something, right?
I mean, the guy knew how to brand himself.
Oh, absolutely. Huge personality. Master of self-promotion. And he knew how to close a deal.
Yeah.
At least, that's what he said.
He wrote the book on it, literally.
Exactly. The art of the deal. So fast forward to 2015. He throws his hat in the ring. No one takes him seriously at first.
I know, right? Everyone thought it was a joke.
Like, is this a reality show?
Seriously.
But then, boom, he starts climbing in the polls.
And then that escalator ride.
Iconic. It was like a scene from a movie.
Pure Trump.
And from that moment on, it was a wild ride. The rallies, the
Trump
slogans,
hero.
Make America Great Again.
It was a phenomenon.
No one had ever seen anything like it.
He tapped into something real.
People were fed up with the establishment. They wanted someone different, someone who wasn't afraid to shake things up.
And boy, did he shake things up.
And let's not forget those nicknames he gave everyone. I mean, Pure Gold, Crooked Hillary,
Sleepy Joe.
Low Energy Jeb.
They were brutal.
But effective. You got to admit, it was genius.
You can't deny it.
Whether you loved him or hated him, you couldn't ignore him.
He was everywhere.
And he knew how to push buttons. Like, really push them.
He was a master at it.
He'd say the most outrageous things.
And the media would go crazy.
It was like he was playing them.
Maybe he was.
So he wins the election, shocks the world.
No one saw that coming.
And then the real fun begins. The Trump presidency. Tweets at 3 a.m.
Diplomatic incidents.
The covfefe tweet.
Oh, man, the covfefe tweet.
It was a reality show in the White House.
It really was.
And the media.
They lost their minds.
They couldn't get enough of it.
They were obsessed.
It was ratings gold.
For everyone.
You got to admit, it was entertaining, even if you didn't agree with him.
Even if you were pulling your hair out.
It was impossible to look away. And he got things done, too. Like it or not, he had an agenda, and he pushed it.
He definitely did.
The border wall.
Tax cuts.
Conservative judges.
He made his mark.
Oh, yeah, he made his mark. But it wasn't all smooth sailing.
No, definitely not.
There were controversies.
Lots of controversies.
The Russia investigation. The impeachment inquiry.
A constant drama.
It was exhausting.
It really was.
But through it all, his base stuck with him.
They loved him.
They still love him.
It's incredible.
So the big question is, why? Why is he still so popular? What is it about this guy that people find so appealing?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned. It's going to be huge. All right, so we left off with the big question. Why is Trump still so popular? I mean, the guy lost the election. There were scandals, controversies, the whole 9 yards. Yet his base is still rock solid.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
What's the secret sauce? What is it about this guy?
Well, I think it's a few things. You know, first off, he's a master communicator.
Oh, yeah. He knows how to work a crowd.
He speaks directly to people, plain language, no BS.
He tells it like it is, or at least how they see it.
Exactly. He taps into their frustrations, their anxieties, their fears.
He's like their voice, right?
Exactly.
He says the things they're thinking, but are afraid to say.
And he makes them feel seen, heard.
Validated.
Exactly.
Like he gets them.
And he does it with humor, too.
Oh, yeah, the guy's funny.
Even when he's being outrageous.
You gotta admit, some of his lines are pure gold.
I know, right?
He's like a walking, talking meme machine.
And people love that. They connect with it.
It's authentic, in a way.
It's not your typical polished politician.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
He's raw, unfiltered.
And that's refreshing for some people.
Absolutely. They're tired of the same old, same old.
The political correctness.
The double talk.
The feeling that politicians are all talk and no action.
And then comes Trump. He's like a bull in a china shop.
He breaks all the rules.
Doesn't care about the norms.
And people love that.
They see him as a fighter.
Someone who's not afraid to take on the establishment.
The swamp, as he calls it.
Exactly. He's the outsider, the underdog, fighting for the little guy. And that resonates with a lot of people, especially those who feel like they've been left behind.
Forgotten by the system.
Exactly.
And he's not afraid to use simple language. Simple slogans that people can understand.
Make America great again.
Build the wall.
Drain the swamp.
They're powerful, right?
They cut through the noise. They tap into deep emotions.
And they give people something to rally behind.
A sense of purpose.
And it's not just about the slogans. He talks about issues that people care about.
Immigration.
Jobs.
The economy.
National security.
He speaks to their fears, their anxieties about the future.
And he offers simple solutions.
Whether they're realistic or not is another story.
Right. But that's not always the point.
No, it's about connecting with people on an emotional level.
Giving them hope.
Making them feel like someone's finally fighting for them.
And he does that masterfully.
He really does.
So yeah. He might be controversial. He might say things that make people cringe. But there's no denying his appeal.
He's a force of nature.
And his impact on American politics is undeniable.
Absolutely.
So what happens next? What's the legacy of the Trump era?
Well, that's a whole other can of worms. And one we'll dive into in the next part of our show.
So the legacy of the Trump era, huh? That's the big question. What's it all going to mean in the long run?
I mean, it's hard to say for sure, you know? It's like the dust hasn't settled yet.
It's still kind of unfolding. Right.
Totally. But I think there are a few things we can already see.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, the polarization, man.
Oh, yeah. It's like everyone's picked a team and there's no going back.
It's insane. Like, we can't even agree on basic facts anymore.
It's like we're living in different realities.
And that's scary, man, because how do you even begin to have a conversation when you're starting from completely different places?
Yeah, it's tough. And it makes it really hard to actually solve any problems, right?
Exactly.
It's all just yelling and finger pointing.
And that's another thing, the erosion of trust.
Oh, yeah, like nobody trusts anyone anymore.
Not the media, not the government, not each other.
And that's got to be at least partly because of Trump, right?
I mean, he spent years attacking institutions, undermining trust in everything.
Fake news, deep state, all that stuff.
Exactly. And that's a dangerous game, man.
Because if nobody trusts the system, then what?
Chaos, basically.
Yeah, not good.
Not good at all.
So what else? What other lasting impacts do you see?
Well, there's the rise of populism and nationalism.
America first, right?
Exactly. And that's not just a U.S. thing either.
It's global.
It's like a worldwide phenomenon.
People are angry, they're frustrated, they feel like the system's rigged against them.
And they're looking for someone to blame.
And someone to fix it.
Exactly.
And sometimes those people are pretty extreme.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
So where do we go from here? Can we fix this? Can we bridge the divides, rebuild the trust?
I mean, it's a tall order for sure.
Yeah, it feels pretty overwhelming.
But I think it starts with dialogue.
Like actually talking to each other.
Great.
It is in this day and age.
But seriously, we got to find a way to listen to each other, to understand where the other side is coming from.
Even if we don't agree.
Exactly.
It's about finding common ground, right?
Totally.
And maybe, just maybe, we can start to rebuild some of that trust.
It's a long shot, but got to start somewhere, right?
Well said. Well, folks, that's our deep dive into the Trump era. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
It really has.
And who knows what the future holds. But one thing's for sure. Trump's impact on American politics is going to be felt for a long, long time. All right, that's it for us today.
Thanks for tuning in.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.